Hello, and welcome to the Experience Local with Russ and Scott. Each week, they bring you conversations with local Christian businesses and business owners. Join in every Monday live at 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Catch the audio on KWIL 790 AM Monday evenings at 6 p.m. The Experience Local is brought to you each week by wonderful sponsors.
BBSI, payroll, workers' comp, HR and business consulting services. BBSI.com. Independent merchant brokers. Low cost and no cost debit and credit card processing. 877-460-4747. IndependentMerchantBrokers.com. Bosun Hub. Since 2012, Bosun Hub has built over 350 websites and many ad campaigns. BosunHub.com. Adams Ribs Smokehouse, 1210 State Street, Salem, Oregon, 503-362-2194. AdamsRibsSmokehouse.com.
And now, your hosts for the Experience Local, Russ and Scott.
Hey.
Good morning, everybody. Here we are live on the Experience Local, live with Russ and Scott. So glad to be here with you today. How you doing, Scott?
Yeah, I'm great. You know, we're beginning a new week. And that's one of the things I love about the Experience Local is it's on Monday. And I love the beginning of the week. There's always so many things going on. But on Monday or on Wednesday, it's a brand new month. Hard to believe.
Wow, I know. Time just keeps moving.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because I was watching some video of me speaking at an event that you took for me, singing the song, Time Keeps on Slipping, Slipping, Slipping into the Future, Gonna Fly Like an Eagle. And I thought that's what's happening. It's flying along. I'm telling you, time is moving, and I want to jump on board. And I want to let God do amazing things through my life, Scott, through all that we're doing. And being on with you, what an honor.
Yeah, you know, it's so much fun to do this show, to do our Wednesday show. And now thanks to Hope 107.9 and KWIL, we're able to do the Experience Local and focus on believers in business. And today's guest is a special man. One of the things that I love about businesses like Tim Fitzpatrick's and Fitzpatrick Painting is that it's creating a lot of jobs. It's supporting a lot of families in the community, as well as doing great work. So we're going to have a lot of fun today.
Yeah, definitely. And I've known Tim for a long time, and he is a blessing to me personally. And I like to rib him and kid him every now and then because he's just a fun guy. But he is such a blessing, not only to me, but like you said, to the whole community and all those families that he blesses. And what a great company and a great service that they provide. So before we get too deep into it, I think we should probably get Tim in the room. But right before we do that, I just want to remind everybody, we're here on the Experience Local on Mondays every week. We go live on social media, on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube at 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time and at 6 p.m. on KWIL 790. We are broadcasting, and we just appreciate you all being here today. And we're going to get Tim Fitzpatrick in and start adding value to you today and show how God is working in his life. Are you ready, Scott?
Yeah, I'm excited. I met Tim when I was coaching his son in Pop Warner football. And then it was a privilege also to coach both his son and his daughter in track at St. A.M. Christian. So it's been a while since we first met. So let's bring him in and get this conversation going.
Okay, here he is, Mr. Tim Fitzpatrick on the road. Hey, Tim.
Hey, good morning, guys. No better place to be on a Monday morning than in Portland traffic.
No, I understand that. I understand that so much because I used to live up there with my beautiful wife when we were first married. And now I live in the more calm metropolis of the Salem, Oregon area, which is way better. But Tim, so glad to have you here today. And what a blessing. We know you're busy, so thanks for being with us. Why don't we start off by you just giving everybody a little insight? Who is Tim Fitzpatrick and what do you have?
Did you say who is Tim Fitzpatrick?
Yep. And what are you all about?
You know, I'm 48 years old and I'm still trying to figure that out myself, guys. So that's probably not the answer you're looking for, though, right? You know, I own Fitzpatrick Painting and Construction here locally. We're based out of Albany. Married to my beautiful bride, Kelly. We have 3 children. Oldest daughter, Kate, is 23 years old now. And then we have 2 boys. Devin's 20. Brendan is 16 years old, still at San Am Christian School. So we live here in Albany, love the community, love the small town feel. Anything is better than up here in Portland. I'm sorry to hear that you had to live up here, Ross. Nothing against Portland. Nothing at all against Portland, but I prefer Albany. Yeah,
no, I'm with you. I totally do not miss, because I have to drive up to Portland quite often to OHSU, through my whole cancer battle, and still going to appointments up there with different things. And so that is the fun. I get some of that traffic through that. So,
hey, Tim, let's go back to the beginning with Fitzpatrick Painting. How did you get involved in this business?
Yeah, well, I'll give you the 30,000 foot flyover, the short story. When I was 18 years, I grew up back east. Went to school in Connecticut and graduated high school in New York, actually. And after I graduated high school, I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. This is graduated in 1993. And in 94, my parents were talking about moving back to Oregon. They had lived in Oregon when I was just a small little boy. And there was a painting contractor who was friends with my dad at the time.
All right. Well, we've got a little interruption in the broadcast from Tim, but there we go. We've got Tim back.
Corvallis that told my dad that you can make $200 a day painting houses. So I was 18-year-old boy. I thought, man, $200 a day, that sounds like a lot of money. I'll move to Oregon with you guys. So I literally moved across the country with my parents, loaded everything up in a U-Haul and moved to Corvallis, Oregon. And I started working for another painting contractor through a temp agency. And I worked for this guy for, I think, probably 3 months. And that was the summer of 94. And I thought, if this guy can do this, I can do it too. So I went out and got my contractor's license. And back then, you literally, I sat at my parents' dining room table. It was like an open book test. It took me about 2 hours to fill out all the paperwork, mailed in the paperwork, and lo and behold, 2 weeks later, there was my contractor's license in the mail. And I think I first started advertising in the Who's Who directory in the newspaper. I think it cost like $100 or $150 a month to put an ad in there. It was big time I was now 19. And started advertising in the Who's Who directory. I had no intention of being a painting contractor. I was just going to do this through college, and then I didn't know what I was going to do, something way more glamorous, move to California and be the next Brad Pitt or something cool, right? But one thing led to another. Met Kelly in college. We ended up moving to Phoenix, Arizona. And when I was in Phoenix, I started working for in my eyes, what was a large painting contractor at the time. Looking back, he was actually quite small. Compared to what we've grown the company to today. But anyway, that was the first time that my eyes were opened, and I actually saw that you could actually run a profitable business out of doing this. And so I remember talking to, his name was Tom, who owned this business. I remember talking to Tom, and this would have been probably 99 now, fast forwarding. And Tom told me, he said, Tim, I haven't taken 1 day of vacation in over 2 years. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to build a business, but I'm going to build a business that doesn't own me. I'm going to build a business that I own, that I can still live the quality of life that I want to live, be with my family, watch my kids grow up, be at their games that you coached, Scott. So that's what I've been trying to do over the last now 30 years. So fast forwarding 30 years, we've been in business for 30 years. We have over 100 employees now. I've got a great management team. I have guys that literally care about the business as much as I do, and it allows me to be able to step away. It allows me to be able to drive up to Portland on a Monday morning and take care of other things that are pressing, and business goes on. So I guess that was a long answer. That wasn't the short answer I promised to give. I apologize for that.
No, that was a good one. Appreciate that. In fact, it's interesting because, we're interested in this. No, we're right here with you. Can you hear us still?
Did I
So
miss them?
we will keep moving on while he's adjusting. But one thing that we like to focus on, Scott, is
Mhm.
how, like Tim brought up. Are you back with us, Tim? Can you hear us there? Okay.
So we'll
having a
remind
little-
everybody that we have on today's call on the Experience
I
Local,
lost
Tim
them.
Fitzpatrick, owner of Fitzpatrick Painting and Construction.
I wonder if I hung up.
All right, we'll get him back in. One of the things, so Tim has over 100 employees, and I'll say that's 100 families that are benefiting because of Tim's faithfulness to pursue a business. But I love, Russ, what he said about creating a business that didn't own him and that he could participate in his life. And we'll talk a little bit more about that with him in a moment here. But you've known Tim for quite a while.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to see if we can bring him back in while we talk about this. Are you with us, Tim? Can you hear us, Tim? Okay, so he's still working on that. But I was going to say that exactly. I love what he talks about with his family and building a business and a career where he can spend time with his family. That's exactly what I did in the years my children were home. I was working and building a family business in the local area that I could still coach my kids. I could still be with my kids. I could still do the things with my beautiful wife that I wanted to do. And it created that family atmosphere. And God uses that. I was personally also on staff all those years as a worship pastor. And so it was a blessing to be able to do that. We're going to see if we can get him one more time here. Can you hear us, Tim?
Oh, it's not your fault. I must have
Are you
hung up on
there?
them when I.
Yeah, we're back. We're back in.
Okay. It sounds like he can't hear us still, though. Can you hear us, Tim? Okay. So we
All
see
right.
Tim. All right. We see Tim, but he can't see us right now. But Scott, go ahead.
Tim's business has been, well, I'll say Tim and his business have been very generous in the community. So if you go to San Am sporting events or different activities, you'll see banners. And one of the things I want to talk to Tim about is not only is he running a business that allows him to participate in the community, he's a great supporter of the community and just some of these different activities. And I know, Russ, again, you've seen him in action in the community for a number of years. Tell us a little bit about Tim Fitzpatrick and Fitzpatrick Painting.
Yeah, this is what I love about Tim. Exactly what you said. That his business does to support and sponsor and bless the community. Not only is he blessing the community with great jobs for people in the community, but he's also personally invested and involved. When he and I first met, I think it was through networking groups through the chamber in Albany. And what a blessing that he was not only to that group, but to supporting all the businesses in the local area. And I see him everywhere. He is one of the top businesses that is really actively involved. And I know also because he and I have lunch together every now and then or coffee, and we talk about our faith and our family and how that interacts. And that's one thing we're all about on this show, because it's all about believers in business. And, Scott, obviously it goes without saying that you and I have a very strong faith in all that we do with our business. And Tim, a rock solid believer that is not only blessing people through the activities of his business, but also through his faith, and then extending that to his family.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a faith lived out, and that's what we love to see here on the Experience Local, live with Russ and Scott every Wednesday. And today's guest, Tim Fitzpatrick, the founder and owner of Fitzpatrick Painting and Construction. And if you drive down I-5, you're going to see his facility there. He's got a lot of equipment, a lot of vehicles, a lot of capacity to be able to serve the valley here with the painting and interior, exterior, all that kind of stuff. And again, creating jobs, family jobs. And so many families are benefiting because he's doing that. And today we're having a little interruption in the broadcast with him because his plans changed and he needed to take care of his daughter. So they're on the road. But I love this because it's a genuine expression of what he's doing with his family and how his business is allowing him to do this, to be able to take his daughter up to Portland and face the Portland traffic, as he was saying.
Yes, exactly. And Tim, if as we are talking, if you hear us and can give us a thumbs up when you get to a spot where you can actually hear us, we can bring you back in. But just give us a big thumbs up when you can hear the broadcast, then what we're saying, and that would be great. It's one thing about coverage nowadays. Cell coverage is it can be spotty at times, and we have busy lives. This is another reason why it is so important, all that Tim said. I want to go back to how he talked about, creating a career around what was important in his life and, his family, and being able to support his children and his wife and all that they're about. So critical, and really the foundation, most important thing in his life. And he built his business around that. And I think that's where a lot of times people maybe get a little off balance and they're not spending as much time with their family, more time in their job, right?
Yeah, this is one of those things that's important that we all take stock of and really evaluate where are we spending our time. And we'll often talk about the Financial Peace University and the process that goes through there when you're evaluating your finances. And one of the things that they have you do is basically go through your bank account and where are you spending your money. And that's going to reflect your values. And
right.
Russ, you and I both recommend that people do that same thing with their calendar. Right. Where are you spending your time and what's important? And if it's not a reflection of your faith and family, then you probably need to make some changes.
Yeah. We're going to try this one more time, Scott. Tim, are you there with us? Okay. We are working hard trying to get Tim back.
You're muted. You're muted, but we do see you there.
That's good. He's working on that. So we're going to have him again, give us a big thumbs up when he hears us and we get in. And because, today it's a good thing that you and I know a lot about Tim, because Tim is, again, an amazing individual. For anybody in this local community, which I know there's a lot of you listening on the radio and live as we're streaming today, people know the value that Tim provides. People know the value that Fitzpatrick Painting provides. And here on the Experience Local, live with Russ and Scott, Mr. Tim Fitzpatrick is a perfect example of a believer in business, Scott. And, I think that people need to remember we are a reflection to those around us and our community through our business, right, Scott?
Yeah, people know you're a Christian, and they'll keep an eye on you. They'll wonder what you're up to, what are you doing, where are you investing your time, your money, and so forth. And so it's really a great testimony when you're able to be a part of the community, when you're spending time with your children. And I love that Tim tells the origin story of his painting business goes back to his parents and how his father just made a recommendation. And it was funny. So now his college job has become a great career. So just reminding everybody, it's Tim Fitzpatrick is today's guest on the Experience Local, live with Russ and Scott. And Tim Fitzpatrick owns Fitzpatrick Painting. You'll see his advertising in many different places. I love the semi-truck trailers with the wrap on the side.
Oh, yeah, I love those too.
Guys, I'm back on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we are good. Hey, one of the things, Tim, we were talking about is family. And let's talk about how you're integrating faith, family, and your business.
Yeah. So, let me apologize. I don't know at what point I got cut out. You got to love technology. I was literally driving up the freeway and I gave a long answer to your question. And then I was done talking and there was nothing. I could see you guys, but I couldn't hear anything. So
Well, we're good. We're
I
good.
apologize for that. I have no idea what happened on my end, but technological difficulties. Yeah, incorporating family in my business, right? So our middle child, Devin, is actually now working in the company, which is just so awesome. He started, I think, about 6 months ago. So he graduated high school 2 years ago. He went down to Biola and did a year at Biola, and then he decided, college isn't the route for me, Dad. I want to work in the company. I'm not a college graduate, so I think maybe selfishly there was a part of me that was like, oh, I want my son to finish college. Although I'm definitely not one of those guys that believes you have to have college to be successful. So he decided he wanted to work in the company, so we put him in the carpentry division, and he worked with the carpenters for I think 3 or 4 months. Absolutely loved it, learned a bunch out in the field. But then we had an opportunity, there was an opening in the sales division. And so Devin, for the last 3 months, he stepped into the sales role, and he's one of the estimators that's out in the field. So it's really cool. I actually put a post online his first day. He sold his first job on site, had the customer sign the contract, and it was a really cool day for Dad, because it was literally 30 years ago. I was 19 years old, and I remember going out, and I remember selling my first job. It was a $250 wallpaper job, and I didn't even know how to wallpaper. I figured out how to do it as I was doing the job, and I'm surprised the customer, they probably shouldn't have paid me, but they did. So yeah, Devin's working in the company now. Our oldest, Kate, she's not currently working in the company. She's dabbled a little bit here and there. Brendan, who's a sophomore in high school, he's got ambitions, and Devin and Brendan both think that they're going to take over Dad's company and they're going to run it someday, which, I think that's every parent's dream. If the kids decide that they want to continue in the company and someday take it over and continue running it, I mean, that would just be so awesome. It's never something that I thought would happen. When I started this company 19 years ago, I never imagined that I would have a company of this size and this impact in the community, let alone think about the fact that someday you might have children that are working in the company. So
Right.
that would be really cool.
Yeah, I love that. And your family, you're such a family guy, and you and I have that in common. But you really are a man of strong faith too. And in the last couple minutes we have here, I just want you to tell everybody how important your faith is to your business and your family, and how that integrates.
Yeah, I try to integrate my faith in my business as much as possible. And we all know, in the world we live in today, I've even had employees come to me, and some of my, upper management employees as well. They've maybe even at times recommended against prayer. I open all of our meetings with prayer. A lot of the meetings, not all of them, all of the meetings, I give some type of a positive, call it a sermonette, call it what you want, but everybody knows in my company that I'm a Christian, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, and I don't make any apologies for that. I will never, and this is going on air live, right? I will never stop praying at my meetings. If we get to the point where prayer is no longer allowed, well, I guess that'll be the point that Tim's breaking the law. That it's important to me. God is the one that's allowed me to have the platform that I have. He's allowed me to have this company that I have. I never dreamt in a million years, guys, when I was a 19-year-old kid, even when I was 20, even when I was 30, I'm 48 now. 10 years ago, I never thought that the company would be the size that it is. I never thought that we would have the impact. And God is an important part of that. I have to remind myself on a daily basis that I'm not going to take any of this with me. It's the impact that I have. I think mostly on my staff. I think we can have a small impact on the community, but those that work with me and work alongside of me, whether they're those that are in the office or the guys out in the field, those are the ones that's my mission field. It really is. And it's taken me a lot of years to realize that. I always thought my mission field needed to be something bigger or greater or more grandiose. And God has slowly shown me, no, Tim, this is what I have for you. This is my mission field. So I plan on staying on the field.
Well, there you go.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I just want to get one bit of practical information, because I will just say that Tim Fitzpatrick and Fitzpatrick Painting, you are the master of promotion. Everywhere I go, I see billboards or semi-truck trailers with your information up there. Tell me, how did you get involved, and how did it come about that you were so good at promotion?
That's a good question. I guess everybody's got to be good at something, and I think I'm really good at marketing. I just enjoy it. I've always kind of maybe made a creative side, kind of think outside the box. That semi truck wasn't purchased as a marketing piece. We actually purchased that semi truck to haul our lifts. And then we found out just how hard it is to load these lifts onto a flatbed trailer, and you had to get your CDL, and it was just a big, long rigmarole. So we had this semi truck. It's like, well, what are we going to do with this? Oh, let's get a cheap trailer and put a banner on it and use it for advertising. So it's just, I've never had any formal education for marketing. I just enjoy marketing. I enjoy people. Russ, I see you out at a lot of events. Scott, I've seen you at a lot of events as well. It's just something that I enjoy doing. So it's come easy. Now I've got a full-time CMO that does all of it for me, but I'm still giving him my input, and he still gets Tim's opinion, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah, no, I love that, Tim. And, you are, you're just a genuine guy, and I love it. I mean, you are basically what you see is what you get. And that's why I think people are attracted to you, your faith and your devotion to your family, and all that just shines through. We only have literally a couple minutes left here in the show, but I want you to give everybody your gold nugget of the day, what you really want them to remember from our discussion, and then tell everybody the best way to get a hold of Tim Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, my golden nugget of the day, I'm going to give everybody the same thing I give my team at just about every single meeting, and that is, it's nothing new, nothing that I coined, but if you're not growing, you're dying. And one of our core values in my company is we encourage personal and professional growth. And for me, that's the spiritual part too. So, what is it? How are you going to make yourself better today than you were yesterday? How are you going to be a better father? How are you going to be a better husband? How are you going to be a better employer? Maybe a better employee? If you're not growing, you're dying. If you want to get a hold of us, office number is 541-967-8900, or you can always email me at tim@fitzpatrickpainting.com.
That's so awesome, Tim. And all of that information will also be in the show notes and online, so people can click on that and go straight to you. Those listening on the radio, you did such a nice job of giving that information. Tim is just an amazing guy. And if you're driving down I-5, you cannot miss Fitzpatrick Painting. When you're leaving Albany and going to Salem, I'm driving right by there, the big billboard. It's just so amazing, Tim. And we just appreciate you taking a moment today to be with us. And you're such a blessing. We'll talk again soon, and have an absolute blessed day.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys. Yep. All right.
This fabulous conversation with a remarkable man, Tim Fitzpatrick, owner of Fitzpatrick Painting and fitzpatrickpainting.com.
Yeah, Tim, again, everybody is so easy to get a hold of. And you drive right by them all the time. Sometimes you look at when you're driving by and thinking, how do I get over there from the freeway? But there are definitely close exits where you can get over to it quite easily.
There you go, Century Drive.
And Century Drive, there you go. And what a blessing he is to this community. And Scott and I just want to thank all of you. We're so blessed by this community. We want to remind you every week, we're here Mondays, 9 a.m. on live stream and 6 p.m. on KWIL 790. Just an amazing radio broadcast. And we're just going to thank all of you for today and say, don't forget, we'll be back next Monday. Don't forget, if you want more information on me, go to russhedge.com. For this guy, you go to dscottsmith.com. And until we see you again, have a great life and
enjoy the experience.
Thank you for tuning in to The Experience Local with Russ and Scott. Listen to the program on Spotify or wherever you listen to fine podcasts. Join in every Monday live at 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Catch the audio on KWIL 790 AM, Monday evenings at 6 p.m. We look forward to seeing you next time on The Experience Local with Russ and Scott.